Hey everybody. It has been a long time, but I am back. I am back like Tyson when he fought Jake Paul. Is it Jake Paul? No, the
Yeah.
brother. Logan? No, Jake. One of them. One of the Pauls. I am back like that. I have a beautiful guest today, but before we get into the formalities, I have manners because I was raised with sense. How are you doing today?
Oh, Mrs. Grievous, I am doing just lovely. Thank you so much for having me here. I appreciate it, Tilka. Thank
Oh,
you.
you are so welcome. Will you introduce yourself to the village?
Yes, hello, village. My name is Sylmia Britt. I am a human being who has grown up, born and raised in Sacramento, California. California is my home, my
Mm,
hometown. So I attended all the schools here, including Sacramento State University, where I got my BA. I also have an MBA and a whole bunch of organizational development in the middle. I'm reminded that when Black women divorce,
mm.
get educated. Okay. And so here I am, fully educated, and I've had a long history uh, in state service. So my career has led me, and really, I worked as a civil servant for the state of California for the last 19 years.
Ooh, child.
Yes, I worked myself through the ranks from a student assistant, and now I'm currently an executive project manager serving low income Californians, which has been my passion, anti poverty, anti racist, pro, let's get it together, everyone. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
all that experience led me into supporting individuals through coaching and then businesses through business development. So I work with a lot of Black and Brown business owners and professionals to help restore their confidence, to create sound business plans, to bid for government contracts, the whole list. I want you to win because when you win, I win.
Mm. Um, wow. That was a beautiful introduction. Wow. Okay. What I am a former Hornet, I guess always a
Oh,
Hornet. Yes. What year did you graduate from the California State University of Sacramento?
2007.
Hey, I graduated in 2005.
Ah, we were there at the same time.
We were there at the same time, but I was just
You was
tunnel
focused. I was
vision.
focused too.
Yeah, I wasn't kicking it.
Mm-mm. No, I had a full-time job and a full-time workload. At that time, it was when folks were starting to go from 4 years to 5 years, and I was like,
Yes.
I can't do 5 years here. I've got all these dreams, and it doesn't mean me staying walking from Mendocino back to Athens. So,
Right. And that was when I could not afford. So, kids just now have computers.
mhm,
My son has a computer with a couple of monitors. He has a laptop. I mean, access to a printer. When I first enrolled at Sac State, I was an 18-year-old, fresh out of high school. We did not have money for me to have a computer or a laptop. And Chiyoko,
mhm,
formerly Hollis, was walking from my dorm at
mm,
Jenkins Hall
mm,
or Sierra, that was
yep,
and then Sutter,
mhm,
and I was walking in rain, sleet, hail, and snow to the computer labs. There was one at Mendocino,
yep,
the other one was at the library,
yep,
and you had to wait in line,
yep.
and somebody was on Black Planet, and you had to type a paper, and I would be pissed off. So that is how that was how my education went, was me all
Yes.
hours of the day and night
Mhm.
whenever I could between classes to type a paper.
Yes. And you know what? So I don't know if you've heard yet, but Sac State, the current president was actually, he graduated maybe a year after you,
Oh yeah,
Dr. Luke
he
Woods.
yes, he and his twin, I've talked about this before.
Hmm.
We were in the same freshman class. Like we
Yeah,
lived in the dorms. So, the black population at Sac State was
it's
like a
small.
good 10, more than 10, more than 10. But it was like
You knew
you
people.
knew of,
Yeah.
you may have not known their names, but if I see them out in the street right now,
Oh yeah.
I will know exactly. Like, I'm
Oh,
like, oh, you went to Sac State.
I
You lived in the
remember.
dorms, but I
Yeah.
don't know
Yeah.
your name. Mm-hmm.
It was that was very much my Sac State experience as well. Of just trying to riding the light rail to get back to school, taking those weird, when you had, and again, this was the time when things were happening in California. So I'm working in government and working for Sac State or going to Sac State at the time. And the classes started shrinking, the schedules started shrinking, and you couldn't get classes. They were cutting all these classes. And I remember leaving school to go back to work and then to come back to school. I wouldn't get in the house until like 9:30, and it's
Yeah.
like those when I talk to women like yourself who their school experience, while they went to college and they went to a local school, it was complicated because you were really consumed with the pressures of being an adult before it was time to be a full adult. And
Yeah.
college doesn't always grant people the opportunity to be spared from the pressures of adulthood that early.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
It really does not. And oh my God, when I think back on that time, I was like, what? How did I even?
Grace
But
of
it was
God. To me, it's the grace of
somebody.
God. It had to have been because how, I mean, wow, there's a lot of energy drinks, but I can't give Red Bull all the credit. It's got to be something in between.
Something, and Schwarzenegger was our governor. I mean, it was a lot going on at that time. These kids don't know.
No,
They think they have it bad now, but
no,
we had Arnold as our governor
it
of.
was it was rough.
It
Yeah,
was rough.
yeah. Mm,
Um, I ask everyone
mhm.
because this is. I love names. What is the story behind yours? The origin? Where did you get it from? Yeah, who bestowed it upon you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Um, my father, in all his genius, named all of the children, all of us, and he picked names for all of us. Some quite plain, but some of us got a little extra sauce in it, and I was
Mm.
one of those. I am his last child. Um, and he wanted it to be an actual special name, which is odd because all of them got some letters thrown together, and some of them got the plain name, and then I got this symbolic name. So one of my
Mm.
grandmothers, her name was Sylvia, and the other one is May Willie. And so they wanted to honor both grandmothers, so they took the M, and but he took his mama's name and put the M in the Sylvia because he wanted to make sure my granny Sylvia had enough respect on her name. But it's something, I think a lot of people have spent their life minimizing their name into short names or nicknames. And to me, there is power in my name, and my name is both of my grandmothers. And so that's history and suffering and dedication. And I am who they wanted me to be, and I recognize that. So I do take effort in helping to teach people my name. Sylmia is not the easiest name because it's not traditional, but it is something
Mm-hmm.
that I love about myself.
Mm-hmm. And we gonna help them get it right.
Yeah, it just takes a little time. Take a little. I mean, for me, I'm like David. How do you say that? David? Is it
David.
David? Yeah,
Day
Dave. Yeah, yeah.
David.
The
Yeah.
one that I get a lot, and I'm sure you get it as well, where they try to entice you with a shortened name, and I was like, I would have told you that was my name. They go, well, can I call you Mia? And I go, no, I would have introduced myself in that way if that was what I
Child.
preferred. And so it's
That
interesting. It's just interesting. Names are
oh
fun.
yeah. But it's I would never ask somebody like, I hear you, but can I just call you Lulu? It's like, girl, no, I don't know you in that manner.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yes, I get that a lot. Oh, is there something else we can? Is there something else you go by? No, mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
It's 3 syllables,
I,
ma'am.
I know, and it's a cultural kind of laziness where it's like, okay, not atypical, then I don't have to spend the time. I think it's just funny. But when I go to Starbucks, listen, I tell them my name is Tom sometimes. I do not care. if it's these nonsensical interactions, it's like that has no meaning to me. And I do get
Yeah.
frustrated though when the Pams or the Pamelas, right? They go to the Starbucks and it's got a misspelling on it, and they about lose it because their name is spelled wrong or something on their Starbucks cup. And I'm like, do you know
That's
what
funny.
torment I've been through in my life? You can endure this one
Come
cup.
on, Pam. Get your cup and let's go.
No.
Ooh. Well, what book are you currently reading?
Ooh, I'm gonna have to be honest. I am currently reading the Bible. It's
Okay, amen.
no, I really am. It's so interesting because it took me like the longest time. I'm getting older, and I'm like, well, you have not read it end to end, darling. You've done this and you've done that, but you have not sat yourself down and gone all the way through. And I think the interesting thing for me is my business is Christian based because I'm a Christian. And so it's not like I'm walking around carrying my cross and hitting everybody against the head with it, but it is in the fabric of what I do. And so for me, there's so many business principles in the
Yeah,
Bible. American society is premised, our law is premised on codification from the Bible, Hammurabi's principles. So it's really understanding how to take those nuggets out and to pull them out into real business, to pull out some of the encouragement from Proverbs and to tell somebody that, right? And it's like the most beautiful thing you could ever tell somebody. I'm like, oh no, I didn't write that. Here you go if you need it. um, mark that in that book. But it's been nice for me to, as like an aware person, somebody who has
yeah.
spent so much time learning, to relearn it in my own interpretation.
Ah, uh-huh. When you are rereading it now, are you like saying to yourself like, "Oh, I missed this," or "I didn't see it like that before," or that's how I am when I read different books again, like later that I read a lot earlier, where I was like, "Oh, I'm reading this because I'm so intellectually brilliant," and not and not getting a damn thing, not getting a message, not getting a nugget. Not, I'm just reading it to read it.
Yes.
But even now, like I'll pick something up and I'm like, ooh, that
Oh,
hits. That
wait, that's been there the whole time.
that's been there the
The
whole time
whole
because this book
time.
was written in 1962. This
I'm
has
just
been here the whole
whole
time.
time. It's been here the
Yeah.
whole time. I think the interesting thing for me is, like, for instance, I was stuck on Chronicles. I was like, what in the what in the what in the what? Why do I got to read all these names and who begat who? It was driving me crazy, and I kept putting it back down and saying, we're gonna figure out who begat who. Just give me some time. And then I stepped back and I thought about myself, and I think that's the thing where I'm starting to have I have more experience, right? So my father's gone, so knowing, and we've got this complicated family, and it's like, well, no,
Mm,
this is how these people came up, and this mother helped him to do this, and when he had these kids, he was in this place, and so I started to like be able to soften my heart to my own family's journey to how things are. It's just because you get more perspective, right?
mm,
And so
mm.
as your worldview and your perspective grow, when you go back to read some of those things, they do hit different. They hit different because now you understand because you've had the life experience to help you walk through what that means. And
Right.
that to me is kind of cool. That's cool.
That is cool. That is cool. I read a lot of things.
Hmm.
My I one of my friends was like, "How do you read?" And I have always carried a book with me,
Okay.
like in my bag, my purse. My husband bought me a Kindle for Christmas. I was like, "That's lame. I don't do Kindles. I can't smell the book. I can't feel it. I don't know how far I am. It is just too much." But I started carrying it and I have a couple of books on there. But I think it was a way for me as a kid to ease my anxiety. Is like I would
Hmm.
be able to pick the book up and just like focus on that. So if I'm in the grocery store and it's a long line, I will bring out my Kindle and
Good.
read, picking up my son, that sort of thing. So I read a lot. But a part of my research for my PhD program is talking about Black women and collective healing for liberation. And there's something like I kept reading these books, and it was talking about Black women in Buddhism
Mm,
and utilizing Buddhism for this liberation. Like,
hmm.
and not like, and a lot of people think Buddhism like I'm a Buddhist and that's the religion, right? But
No,
it's
no,
like principles.
correct.
And so thinking about, so there's all these Black women who practice Buddhism, and I was just like, this is so fascinating. Like, what is it about
Hmm.
this? So I've been like diving into that, and there's this book that I'm reading right now by Jan Willis.
Writing it down.
Okay, write it down.
Okay.
And she is an author on several books of Tibetan
Hmm.
Buddhism, and she's been like ordained and all this other stuff. But the book is called Dreaming Me,
Hmm.
Black, Baptist, and Buddhist,
Oh.
because she was raised Baptist. So it's one woman's spiritual journey. And it connects because I was raised Baptist as well.
Hmm.
And she talks about being fearful fearful in
Of
church, like when
anything.
people any the Baptist cut up. The the Baptists tear it down. I'm like, oh my God. And it was like I was like listening to myself. Like
I love
she
it.
talked about how women falling out and around her and how that would scare her. And people, I remember people running around churches but able to keep a straight line, and that did not make sense to me because I'm like, if you're running with your eyes closed and nobody's guiding you and you peek with one eye, or when sister nita when sister Nita Bell's wig came off in the middle of her shouting, and somebody whispered to her and said, sister,
Help
your
us, Jesus.
wig. And she came out of her holy ghosting and put that wig back centered. I said, oh no, I don't want that. I don't want the Holy Ghost. I don't want no parts of that. So hellfire, brimstone, all of that scared me. And if you going to hell, you walked in here, you were born in sin. It's like, well, good. I'm just 5. Um, so she talks about that in this book, and it's really neat, kind of seeing like this freedom that she had, like being a child of the South, like Jim Crow South, and
Yes.
going to India,
Hmm.
like as this hippie, like, you know what? I'm about to live my life. And
Hmm.
that to me is so empowering. So that's the book that I'm reading right now.
I will mention I do read a lot of books too, so please don't. I know this Bible's
Oh.
not, but I'm reading Siddhartha. A friend of mine gave it to me as a gift, and
Oh.
you're bringing up a good point. I want to mention that because, as I said, I'm looking to interpret it through my eyes.
Yes.
I grew up
Yes.
Pentecostal, and then
Okay.
I know
Oh,
exactly
I
what.
know you running, hitting the laps.
Okay.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I remember my mother, and I have too many stories to tell about some of the things that have happened and how there's a movement of people, especially like I think professional Christians. It seems like it's not really folks who've been in. I'm just being honest.
No,
It's
I
folks
love it.
who are looking to find the middle. They are open to what God has put on this earth for them to use as tools,
Yeah.
and they're trying to deconstruct that trauma that they got in somebody's model of Christianity that may not serve them. And that's
Ooh.
okay. And I think that that's okay. But I think there's an old guard and a new guard, obviously, that likes to maintain this model. But you see a lot of folks in like the elevation churches and all these other churches that are like, yeah, you did wrong, but this is what's gonna happen when you do right. And so it's more encouraging
Yeah.
to move forward. But honest to goodness, seeing people being taught how to catch the Holy Ghost, we could have a whole conversation about that, how
I'll
traumatic
put
that
that
was.
I'll put that down for next our next talk. And it's gonna be called Catching the Holy Ghost One-on-One.
I tell you, and it's all that dysfunction that people don't want to admit to. Nothing is perfect. No man put on this earth is going to be Jesus
Hmm.
again. It's not going to
Hmm.
happen.
Hmm.
So creating these scenarios where we feel like all this obligation towards a building when it's not the building, it's the people in the building, and the people in the building belong to the man. Oh, it's just confusing to me. And so, yes, I struggle. So that's why I said I'm reading it so I can gain my own
Yes.
perspective.
Hmm. I
I don't I
love
don't
that.
I don't want anybody else's anymore. I want to be able to defend my thought process in a
Yeah.
way that is really true.
Yes, because you're capable,
Yes,
right? Like you're capable and you don't have to take on it. We teach our kids this. Like you don't just listen to somebody like that's what it is. We're not followers. We're not
right,
supposed to be followers.
right.
So why is that different in
I
your
know.
real life
It's so
versus
weird.
your church life? You should always question. You should always ask,
It's
right?
strange. You're telling me you'd let a plumber in your house and you wouldn't see no license or no, there's no way. There's no way you wouldn't be like, this business isn't licensed. I don't know who vetted them. What are the standards for vetting this? There's all of that built into it to where you get somewhere and you start to see the cracks along the time. And that's why I got to be honest. I didn't move from church to church to church to church to church because I can't maintain when I see things that are uncomfortable for me. It's
Yeah.
judgment that's still not right in my system, but yay, I can also get my friends together. So I've actually started a new women's group. It's called
Oh,
Blessed and Bonded, and it's a monthly
cute.
group for us women to get together to be wild, but within safety, right? Like
Yeah.
we used to, where you used to dance all night, and eat and have a good time. And you will be invited, of course. I'll invite you to the next one, which will be at a
Thank you.
winery. But it's like,
Oh,
that's what I mean. We can have fun and we can be decent to each other and help uplift each other. And we
yeah.
can throw away the trauma that's been associated with being Christian. And I think that's what's not fair is that so many people have been traumatized that they leave God, but they really need to leave these people.
Child. Yes, I remember going to a church once, and my grandfather was still living. It was here in Sacramento because I didn't grow up here in Sacramento, but I went to a church. I won't say the church, and
Text it
and
to me.
I remember, I will. I'll text it. I remember being like, "What in the hell?" And I said that in my head,
Oh
and then I was
no,
like,
yeah. Ooh,
I said,
yeah.
"What in the hell is going on here?" And I remember
Mhm.
going to my grandfather, and I said, "I can't do it. I
Mm-mm.
can't." And he said, "It has nothing to do with the people that are in there because everyone in there is broken and flawed,
Mhm.
and they are bringing that energy into that space, but you have to keep blinders on. Is
Mhm.
the word connecting with you?
Mm.
Does the reverend make sense? Is he speaking truth? And if you don't know if he is, can you ask him a question?" Because it
Mhm.
was a male, and grandpa male
Yeah.
dominated. But is it? He probably didn't know women
He
that were
didn't
preaching.
know.
He'd be like, "Mm-mm, that
Mm-mm.
doesn't happen here."
Mm-mm.
But he was just like, "Could you ask him questions? If you can't ask this man questions,
Right.
that is not where you need to be." And I
Mhm.
said, "Oh, yes, yes, sir. Yes, grandpa. Okay." But
Wisdom.
that's what he was like. People, they come there, they're broken.
Yeah.
So we bring that and we make other people.
Mhm.
We
Mhm.
put that on other people. We project on other people.
Wisdom. Wisdom.
So I know it's
That
just
was
we don't get.
good.
That
That
was
was good.
good.
That was the
We
good
don't.
stuff.
Yes, because he was like, "Girl."
I'm telling you, I can't wait for us to have this follow up conversation because I'm going to tell you a story, and my mother. But I understand now, and if I were put in the same situation, especially a lot of churches put you in this situation where you have to bow down in a very performative way, and
Yeah.
that hampers your ability to ask questions, to get clarification. Because
Right.
if you've established these folks as your family and you feel this closeness, then you can't buck the system. But
Ooh.
neither here nor there.
Neither here nor there. That's been our theme, everybody, since we first started talking. Neither here nor there. It's like When in Rome.
Yes, 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 completely.
Completely. What is a song that you hear that makes you just hit that good sway, that shoulder shimmy, that body back roll? Just
Hmm.
mm.
Hmm. I got
Yeah.
to tell you, we were just chatting about this, and it's Cameo. She's strange, and she didn't think I was gonna say it, but I tell you, as soon as I hit that, I said, "Why are they singing about me? What?
Oh
Why did
yes.
Why did they get it right?" I said, "I'm an old school girl. I wanna hear some DeBarge, all that good stuff, and just have a good time, but a lot of shimmying."
Oh yes, a lot of shimming. Yeah, there will be songs like that will come on or on my playlist, and my son will be in there, and he's just like, "Oh, she about to hit a one
Mhm.
two." In the
Mhm.
car driving, I have a whole choreo. When Janet
Mhm.
comes on Pleasure Principle, you think that chair is in that passenger seat. I just bring just like people be flipping hair that's not there. I will bring that chair, that imaginary chair in, and Brick House will come on. I'll be like, "Oh, that's me," and my son is like, "Oh." But yes, I
Yeah, the
will hit a
grocery
good.
store. Mhm.
Yes,
Mhm.
I will
Mhm.
hit a good
Mhm.
snake.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. The song that I was swaying to earlier
Yes,
was
please.
"Anniversary" by Tony.
Yes.
It was a good sway. It had me in my. I'm doing it now. I'm not even hearing the song. I'm just reminiscing on this morning how I was just okay in the kitchen.
Yes. I have to be honest, my sway. I don't know if you've ever been out that way, but the Blue Note in Napa.
I have not, but I always see. I want to. Okay, so it's yeah.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Because I've seen John be there twice. I'm up here eating deviled eggs and going, it's the best, and nothing like it. They got some good deviled eggs.
Okay,
Do
okay.
not
Is
miss,
he?
do
Is
not
he?
miss out. Oh,
Did
he's
you
so
have a good time okay?
so good. I love going to concerts. I go by myself because I'm a
I
single
love
lady,
going.
and I just go. I don't wait for
Don't
anybody for. I just go.
mm-mm.
I just
you
go.
you don't bring clef notes to the line pages.
No, no,
No, you don't bring
no,
sand to the beach. You
no.
go by yourself.
I do, and I just have the best time. Raheem DeVaughn.
Oh, I love him.
He puts on one of the best performances. I promise you not. And he goes to the Blue Note, and it's not that expensive. You can get front row. Again, I'm eating my deviled eggs looking at this man sing. It's crazy,
I
right?
love him.
Too good. It's super small, intimate, but I think that's the thing that it's like, people are always looking for something, and it's like I want to feel the memory in my body. And music does that
Mm,
for you, where you're allowed to, like when you say, I'm listening to my dad dance and sing and, all that good stuff. And
yes.
that's beauty. That's beauty. And it's just,
Oh,
that is liberation.
that is liberation.
It is.
I love the fact that you brought up my man Raheem. Sorry, Dan, but when I
We
tell
love you,
you,
Dan.
we love you, you the man.
Shots fired,
But
Dan, but we love you, Dan. We love you. We love you,
we
Dan.
love you.
It's you. It's
It
you we want.
is him.
It is.
When I tell you that little man, he's probably a good 5'2".
Bless him.
I'm about 5'9",
Okay.
and I
It's everything.
said,
Hmm.
look at this,
Hmm.
and my
And guess
kid,
what Dan said? Look at this.
look at yes,
Same thing. Yes. He
that's
said, "Look
exactly
at
the same.
God." He said,
Look
"Look
at
at God."
God.
Thank you, Jesus.
Won't he do it? I
Raheem.
just, I I create a playlist, and the playlist
Hmm.
is called Songs Alex Had No Business Listening to as a Baby. And that's the name of the playlist. And on there is like 6 Raheem DeVaughn songs. And one
Yes.
of them is B.O.B.
Yes.
Better Rate.
Yes. 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 Yeah. 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 Yep.
When my
Yep.
2-year-old used to hit those notes in
Yep.
the
And you'd be
back,
like, "Oh, maybe we should change this."
we should change it. But I said, not today, because he don't know. But
Mm-mm.
now he hears it and he's like, really, mom?
He's like, "Why am I having some sort of memory flex of?"
That is my guy. That is
I
my guy.
promise you, you and Dan, Blue Note, front row, deviled eggs. I'm serious. Don't skip on the deviled eggs. I'm not
I
playing
won't.
around.
You should do a commercial for them because I'm sold.
I try to replicate the recipe because I love to cook, and they
Yeah.
put a little jalapeno juice and they put bacon bits on top. And I just haven't got the jalapeno juice right yet.
Is it
So blue,
spicy though? Because I start,
mm-mm.
my ears start getting red.
It added an acidity to it that helped cut the richness of all the mayonnaise and the deviled egg. You see how I just explained that to you?
Oh yeah, you
And you see
did.
the light turned on because God said
I
she's telling the truth. So
single men who
no,
like deviled eggs.
don't call me. Go eat your deviled eggs by yourself with your mama. Mm-mm. Call your mama. Take her to Blue Note. She might like them deviled eggs too, and tell me if
This
it's
is not a dating show, but let me
mm-mm,
tell you, I have
mm-mm.
had people on this show that were single women,
Yeah.
and when I tell you that, I don't know if they were listening to the content of the conversation, but they would hit me up like, "Hey," and I said, "She don't want you." I've
Mm-mm.
had to, I've had to, I've had to deflect
Oh,
on the behalf of my guests.
you're kind. You know what? While I am single, I
Mm.
understand the markers of what God is going to send to me, and this is the first time in my life that I'm like, oh no, 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 because if I dare take something else that is not what he drops at my door, I will be stuck yet again. So here I am, just in a season of pure waiting, happily, happy with my sisters, happy with the
Mm.
brothers that,
Mm-hmm.
everybody that I got, but I need no more than what I have. I am so super blessed, and I'm sitting in that and
Yes.
understanding it and finally able to surrender, and I do
Mm.
mean that in the most real way, surrender to it
Oh,
and to be pleased and joyful in it. And that has taken a great deal of time to find that joy.
child, and that is liberation. Let me tell you, I just say, I'm a natural matchmaker at heart.
Are you?
I feel like I am. I feel it. So, okay, I don't have like like 10 out of 10 track record,
Sure, sure, sure.
but I believe, like, I'll be like, that person has that quality. It has gone so far that I have not hooked them up. I have I have brought two 17-year-olds together.
Oh, I love that.
And it wasn't like a y'all should date and get married. It was more
Yeah.
so like, y'all have a lot in common. And I knew them, so I met one person from school this new go round,
Hmm.
and a friend, my son's best friend's older brother. And I'm like, these kids are very similar. Guess what? They still talk to each other over a year later. And I said, if these two kids get married,
I know that
I'm
would
gonna
be no,
I'm gonna be I'm be
no,
at the
that
reception,
no, you
just
are, and you're
cutting
gonna be in
up.
the cutest dress, and you're gonna be the loudest one, and you deserve to
Hmm.
be. Hmm.
Hmm.
You should
And
be
every
the
time I
loudest.
introduce myself, I'll be like, "I'm Chioka," and I introduce them. So thank you. You're welcome. Isn't this
You're here because
beautiful?
of me. You're
You're here
welcome.
because of me. I love it so much. But it was like they're like really great friends.
Oh, I love
And
that.
they're both in college, and they are like, different places in college, but they chat, and they like they give each other I mean, it is beautiful.
Oh.
So I'm a matchmaker at heart. So, maybe I should call Jesus on the main line and ask for, if he needs my help
That's all.
for
Listen, that's all we got to say. Say, Lord, if you let Chiyoko bring us to me, oh no, oh no, I'll know it's you. I'll know it's you.
right, because in my heart, at
Hmm.
least I can do some vetting. If I don't bring
Yeah.
the person to you, I can vet. I'm a
Now,
vetter.
that is a good thing. My heart is very open, and I think that's all that matters is that my heart is open. I'm a receptive human, but I'm
Mm,
understanding that it is not for me to go find.
I love that.
Yeah.
You know what? You better write another book. Um
So
Volume
cute.
2.
Two. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I swear I could do this all day. This is why these shows be so long. You wrote your book,
Yep.
which I admire. I have 29 book ideas. I swear I do. They're on post-it notes all over the place. And I admire people who just get the shit done. They just do it. It goes from their heart. So listen, you wrote a book. You are like uh, Rahima DeVaughn. I'm just like in awe. So you wrote your book, Confidence Unleashed. Mm. Shattering psh, psh, ceilings,
Hmm.
claiming your seat at the table,
Hmm.
bringing your own chair,
Yeah.
not waiting, you popping the chair down.
Yeah.
Will you tell us what your book is about and what inspired you to write it?
Thank you.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
for that. And you're absolutely right. I'm bringing my own chair. I'm plopping it down. I'm sitting on it.
The fold, is it the folding one or you got a like a real?
Listen, this is a real heavy chair. I'm sitting it down. Nobody can move me.
Yes, yes.
I was in my career for so long and I had severe imposter syndrome.
Mm.
Severe. I had done whatever I could do to do everything right. I had two military parents, so and they weren't in the military when they raised me, but they still thought about all that stuff all the darn time. Fold these corners like this, do this like this, be on time, say thank you. They would make me go to the school again when I was on break. So if it was summer break or off track period, I would have to go up to the school and volunteer. Okay. And then sometimes, because my parents were a little bit older and old school, sometimes
Mm.
they'd make me, there's a couple of teachers who lived nearby. They would make me go walk to their house and see if I could pull some weeds or something. That's how, and I lived in
Really?
Sacramento. This is in Sacramento, but it was my parents. So I
This
grew up
sounds
with,
like a real Alabama
it is, it was,
story.
it was. I was a country kid picking up my toads in the backyard, chasing my frogs. You want to race some frogs? Because we lived on the south side of the county, so it was still kind of rural at that time.
Mm-hmm.
But really, I did everything I could. I did everything right. Every AP class I felt qualified to take. Every, whatever I did it. Whatever after school thing. And we grew up kind of low income. We were really low income, and so
Mm-hmm.
they had all these programs. Every time it was a program, I'm going. They had a math, engineering, and science academy, Mesa, which is still around now, and I was there every Saturday. So I'd take my weekends to try to
Hmm.
do what they told me to do. I knew what was right. It was very clear. Then you get into work, and I work in civil service, and this is going to be really deep. Okay,
Okay.
you get in civil service, and the reality is that they're asking for the same obedience that your parents asked for. And if you grew up Pentecostal, if you grew up Baptist, by default, your body naturally does that thing where it goes, okay, okay, okay. So they tell you to jump, you go, I'm jumping. They go, I need you to jump higher. You go, how high? You really do go how high. And being a black woman
Mm.
and naturally being fearful of the rug being pulled from underneath me, regardless of how much more education I got or whatever I did, whatever extra assignments, how many overnight trips they sent me on to DC, and I'm sitting in this airport away from my young child. I didn't care what it was. I was going to do it because there was still this piece of me that was afraid that it wasn't going to be what it was, and I had to work a little bit harder, and I
Mm-hmm.
stressed myself out, and I got super chunky, and I drove my man away, but he was driving me away, so I'm glad he went where he went too. Okay, thank you, Lord. He went where he had
Yes,
to
won't
go.
he do it?
He will. He'll separate you from the things that you need in order to build you up, right?
Yes.
And so I'm sitting here making the most money I've ever made, and I'm stuck. I'm stuck in my brain. I couldn't I couldn't do it anymore. So I dug in deep and I leaned into all that mess and I said, okay, fine, let's go to group therapy. And I went and did group therapy for about 8 weeks. And it was intensive. And it was like, I was like, I don't need to be around these people. Oh, I need to be around these people. I need to be healed. I need to hear how they hear what I'm saying. I need perspective. And there were so many really great people and we learned from each other. And I realized everything that I was saying was a bunch of BS. Oh, I didn't need to work harder. Oh, I did deserve rest. Oh, I am actually really smart. Oh, I am very diligent. I do what I'm supposed to do. And it was after that period that here I am now with all this newfound knowledge. And throughout my career, I've helped people, lots of people. Whatever you need, if you come and tell me, can I will. Again, it's that obedience, that generosity. It's religious based too, where
Yeah.
generosity is it repays itself over time. And then I said, no, I'm going to help people. I'm the right person to help people. I need to help people. And so I formed my business. So my business is GBU Consulting. God bless us. God bless us. And
God
so
bless us.
God bless us. It is just
Mm.
God bless us, please. Okay, we ain't got time for this. God,
Just GBU.
just
GBU.
GBU. Okay. And I realized I was like, no, I am going to be the person that I needed. Like, not everyone is prepared to go to and take that's a really big step, right? I'm going to go do group therapy, right? That's a big
Yes,
step.
it is.
It's very confrontational. It's very out in the open. You're going to expose yourself. It's going to be it. And
Mm-hmm.
people aren't ready for that. Lots of folks aren't even ready for therapy. Some people are ready for coaching though. And could I be somewhat of a trauma informed coach? Could I take the principles that I had learned around self
Mm-hmm.
acceptance, radical acceptance, CBT principles, all the stuff, repackage it and repurpose it so that I could heal folks as I was growing them? And I got myself a coach at the same time I was doing therapy, and I realized that that interplay between your
Yeah.
poverty mindset, your upbringing, and how limiting it was. And from there, I realized, oh, privilege is make believe. I can just pretend to be whoever it is has the privilege in the moment. And I started running my business like that, reaching out to people and saying, you don't have to wait. You say when you're ready. Just do it. Just do it. Let's just do it. Let's take those post-it notes, which I'm going to tell you. Let's take those post-it notes and let's start because it just feels like such a waste in this world that there's all of us there with something that somebody needs,
Mm.
yet we can't get it from oh out of our head onto the paper. And once we get it onto the paper, it'll just grow, right? It has no time to do anything but grow because like a woman like you, when you put something on paper, like if you legit put
Mm-hmm.
it on paper and you save that piece of paper, that is the realest, that's as real as money to you. You know that that thought was valuable.
Yep.
It was something. And that's what I help people do. And I don't do it for money because I'm clearly still working for the state of California. Okay.
Okay, I know.
I know. And I
I know.
charge people on a sliding scale because I realize that I want to help more people than I can, right? And so I try to be as generous as I can. And I realize, wow, some folks are going to have a retirement now. And they didn't, there is so much power. There is so much power in there. And I work with women that I used to be. So I've worked with women who are in domestic violence shelters, used to be her. I
Mm-hmm.
work with women who are single mothers, used to be her. Work to women who are switching careers or switching industries, used to be her. And it's really taking all that energy and putting it back in. I work with men too, but it's really saying that this is just a temporary version of you and let's work to change it.
Mm-hmm.
So the book Confidence Unleashed is all of that mixed in with my business, mixed in with my education. It provides very tactical, very bite-sized, small. Because I got to be honest, most of the women I coach, you tell them to read a book, is they get scared. They get scared. Oh, I'm sorry. They get terrified. They can't take anything else on. And I'm like,
Oh,
no, but you need to start here because if we do not pick through some of that stuff, when we try to do this business plan, you're going to get stuck and get overly emotional, and then we'll never finish it. So I'm going to let's get stuck together right here, right now, in a way that I know can at least pull some of that stuff out. And there's tactical little um, exercises, there's affirmations, there's questions to ask
mm.
yourself, there's all that stuff so you can start the process of re-envisioning what your professional self, your business will look like,
Yeah.
and just taking your power back and just saying now is the time. I decided that now is the time and I'm going to. And sometimes you got to build your own table. It ain't even a table to be at. You got to not even bring the seat. You got to build the table. Look at your podcast, how beautiful it is. Like you
Thank you.
built a table and you gave me a seat.
I did, and I didn't offer you one of those milk crate seats.
No, you didn't. It's a
Mm-mm,
nice
mm-mm.
one.
It's a nice computer gamer chair with the back, and it vibrates.
All of that, all of that, all of that.
Hmm.
But yes.
Yeah, no, that is beautiful, and I think it's fascinating because many of us, as you're saying, we have these ideas and these stories inside of us, and it is about just taking the step, like one little thing, the post-it note, the writing a title down. How would your name look on your book cover? What do you want your book cover to look like? And I laughed when you said, like, it's just bite-sized things, and we got to start somewhere. And even in my therapy sessions, I'll say, okay, let's think about some homework you can do. People will get all tense, and I'll say, okay, hold on. Practical life applications. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Why'd you just say that? Because it's the same
Okay.
doggone. But okay, sis, let's do it. But
Isn't that
yeah,
strange?
it
Isn't that
is
strange
strange.
how and again, I was hurt. It is so strange to attempt to convince somebody to take care of themselves. It's so strange. It's so laborious. And I tell people, okay, no, I'm not for you because I'm not going to fight with you.
I'm not fighting with you.
I'm
Not on
not
my
going to fight with.
time.
Oh no, 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 no. You think you're paying me so that we can fight? That's not the experience I care to have. We're going to change together. You're going to teach me so much about me. I'm going to be a better woman when we're done with this. And those are the people I stay with. And I'm like, okay, what do you need? Let's go. But there's so many people who, you're right. They're not ready. They want, and that's
Mm-hmm.
envy and jealousy. You want, but you haven't put in the work to start to create that foundation for you to be blessed, for abundance to come, for all these changes to be made. You ain't even tried to, like, somebody said homework. The homework is about you.
It's about, I always have to say, like, you don't have to turn it into me. I ain't checking it. I'm not giving you no stars. I'm not, like, it's about your own your own development as a beautiful human being. Like, you came to me. I didn't come to you. I want you to be well. That is what I am a guide. I don't tell you what to do, and I'm not a coach, right? I don't tell you what to do. It's
Mm-mm.
about meeting you where you're at and where you're ready to go.
Correct.
That's it. Like,
Yeah.
and if you don't want to do that, then how am I going to make you be like, oh, this is not working? Well, why isn't it working? Because you ain't doing nothing. I have to have these conversations often.
I have to have these conversations often as well. And, I work with a lot of different Black women who are killing it, right? So, Cameo Robertson, Latifah Abdur. I'm talking about people, Regina Lawless. I'm talking about Latina women, Yanara Guzman. I'm talking about people who are killing the game and they
Yeah.
dragging people. Oh, no, 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 no. We're trying to restore our community through you. We see you and we want to build you up. We need you to dig in. It's going to be hard. And that's the hard part is I'm not in a place where I'm licensed, right? And I tell people, I'm not licensed. Go get you a
Hmm.
therapist. I got one, right? I don't I
Hmm.
don't play those games. Don't confuse me. Ooh, ooh, because I get to, oh, nope, you need to
Yeah.
go work through that with someone.
Yeah.
But you're sitting there in that place, and I'll tell people, listen, this is going to get uncomfortable. You're not going to like me. So
Oh.
if you want a relationship where we're going to be like naturally just friends off top, it's not going to happen that way. I am
Hmm.
going to make you wildly uncomfortable because I don't have time to wade through it. A therapist wades through the discomfort very patiently
Oh,
and goes from
sometimes. Hmm.
session to session.
Yeah.
And I remember one therapist I had, she said, how many more sessions you going to talk about this? I said, oh yeah, you're right. And that's where I'm at. That's where I'm
That's
at.
me. That's me. That's why I said, you said patiently. I was like, yeah. I mean, I think that I'm very like, let's process this, because processing is not linear. It's very
Sure.
like, it'll come. But there have been times where I have told somebody, I'm going to say something you ain't going to like. So
Yeah.
take a deep breath and let's get uncomfortable. I want you to lean into it. It doesn't
Yes.
mean it's the gospel. It just
Yes.
means it's an observation that I'm having.
And the bravery, like
Yeah.
when you show up to therapy, when you show up in this world, like I tell people, it's a book. You need to show up prepared to do some sort of work. The concept of coming to someone broken and then waiting to be fixed, I'm a facilitator at best. I ain't gonna
I'm
do
not a
nothing for.
I'm not
I'm gonna facilitate some stuff, but like I can't.
I'm not Penn and Teller. I
No, I
can't
know, I
I
know.
can't do that.
And that's why I like my books because it's like I've had so many people that I know don't read or like deep deep into social media. They'll read a social media something like the post, but like they're just not into
Yeah.
long format text. And so a lot of them will skip down to the questions and just work through the questions. It doesn't bother me as long as you're willing to consider the fact that how you're coming into this space might need to be altered for you to get the gains you want.
Ooh, yes. You've mentioned imposter syndrome. You talk
Mhm.
about it in your book, and I know that it comes up in sessions with me, with people that I see. We go lengths into imposter syndrome and why it exists and how it exists in people's lives, and how do you know it's popping up? How does it show up for you, and how do you see it showing up for other Black women,
Oh,
other women of color, whoever you
yeah,
want to pick?
all of them, all of
Yeah,
them.
yeah,
And
everybody.
it, I have to be honest, my best friend is an Asian male. It shows up with him too. It shows up with
Mm,
so many of us. And you know, for me, okay, so I'll tell you about a recent. I am, as much as I seem extroverted, it's with very small, select few of people that I feel an emotional connection to probably immediately. You happen
mm-hmm.
to be one of them, like where I'm like, I sense the genuineness, I sense how kind you are, and
Hmm.
just light, lots of light.
So sweet.
No, you're so sweet. Like you're really, you know, I've already told you you're so sweet,
I know
girl.
you so sweet too. I was like, oh, look at us.
I know, and that's what I mean. Black girl joy. Like you can just be joyous with people and they accept you for who they are.
Yeah.
I recognize when I enter some spaces, my brain goes and makes the calculation, right? So if I enter a space, I go, they're not going to accept. If I perceive that they are not going to accept me as who I am, because I'm done. When I show up, this is who I am. This part is not straight. Okay.
Mm,
I changed earrings 3 times. I redid this eyebrow 4. This one's not plucked. I mean, the reality is I show up as I am. If you
mm-hmm.
ask me, I will tell you because I can't hide anymore.
Yeah.
But when I
Yeah.
get to these spaces where I question how people are going to perceive me, my
Mm-hmm.
body tenses up and I immediately go into my lesser self, which is to posture, position, go into those I'm smart, I'm unaffected, I'm a black woman, I'm pleasant, I'm this, I'm that. Like I'm trying to pick up on all these cues in order to make myself palatable to whomever it is. That's psychopathy.
Mm. Mm.
And
What a
so
beautiful. Ooh.
when I really get there, so this happened recently. I was going to go to a networking event downtown. Okay, I've got a dress on and heels, and I'm walking downtown because I've parked over a couple blocks away. And
Mm-mm.
it was one of the warm days, the warm Sacramento days. And boy,
Mm.
I tell you, by the time I got to that event
Mm.
space, I was sweaty. I grabbed a napkin and I started a dabble do ya. And
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
immediately my brain was in a vulnerable space because I was hot, I was uncomfortable. It became vulnerable. I see all these people that I don't know. And again, I'm not really extroverted and true. And
Mm-hmm.
so I go to, hi, 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 hi. 10 minutes later, I said, why do you feel so tired? My body was tense. And I've started to be at the point now to where I can pick up on the physical cues of me not behaving like myself
Mm-hmm.
because I will hold my posture in such a way that my mother told me. My parents used to walk around and be like, put these books on your head. And we'd walk around, this, I'm serious, we'd walk around with the books on our head. We went through etiquette stuff, all that good stuff where
Mm-hmm.
they were teaching us how to be palatable as they had learned in the military.
Yeah. Mm.
And I just said, forget it. And then I just relaxed. And then people came to me. And mind you, I was just talking to a bartender, just relax now. Now I can relax, you
Yeah.
know, and when you finally surrender to who you are and that there is not a version of me that is universal. So whatever. Not everybody's not gonna they're not going to like me. And I've gotten out of the people pleasing so much and
Mm.
addressed some of those core issues because those are tied together, the imposter syndrome and the people pleasing, to say, well, I really don't care what you think. It's not gonna change the outcome.
Yeah.
It has no difference. And so just I think that's the thing about therapy that people get afraid of. It's not going to cure you. It's going to give you the right words and the math equation, right? The mental math equation to
Mm-hmm.
help you put in those inputs to know where you are and how you get off that line and
Mm-hmm.
go to a different one. And I think that is the beauty of staying tapped in with a therapist, staying tapped in with a community. I can go, I don't think I'm ready to give this presentation, but you've been talking about it for the last 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So
I've been hearing about it this whole
that,
time.
so just go out there and having that support system to help ground you, bring you back down to earth. That's
Yeah.
that's important.
Yeah. No, I love that you are able to somatically like determine when you're being disingenuous, like, or not
Yes.
authentic
Oh,
to
it's
yourself.
disingenuous. It feels like I feel like Cynthia and Zero, and I'm like, yes, I am here at Wicked, and I'm trying to. What Oscar are you winning, sister? Nobody's gonna give you nothing if you keep acting like this. Nothing is gonna happen. It's
Are you even an actress? Like, how would you win an Oscar?
does the Academy even know where you to send your invitation? No, no, none of this is real, and it's those cognitive distortions that you fight through, and you're
Mm-hmm.
really fighting through of like just because they looked at me, I don't.
Yeah.
And then here's the now this is a sad thing. I wear glasses
Oh, yes.
and I don't always wear glasses. And when I go to events like that, I had glasses on, I take them off
Mm. Why are you taking them off?
because if my anxiety is going to be naturally triggered because of my perception of how people are looking at me and like
Mm-hmm.
what their thoughts are, and why not see them?
Child, because I can't see. I would be like,
I
you're like,
would
I
too.
saw you.
Those went in my they went in my purse, and I said, nope, you don't need to look at them no more because it is. It's all these mind tricks that we've created over time to help us like navigate through all this stuff. Half of it is fake, and going back through and and again, this is the Bible too. Of going back through and going, what is real? What matters? It doesn't matter. Oh, these edges flew up. Oh well. Now, mind you, it's a picture on LinkedIn, and I said, "Good God, who let you out the house?" My hair, again, imposter syndrome. I had straightened my hair out to go there. What now this natural hair is about to curl right back up. And so that little 2.5 blocks,
Oh, yeah, you were sweating. Like Whitney Houston, you were rubbing
oh my goodness.
brow.
It was it was the mm, and listen, you look at that LinkedIn picture, I showed my kids. I said, yeah, I went out. They said, what happened to your hair? And I said,
Oh. Don't talk to me. You have no
I,
room. Because
I
I'm
said,
still doing yours.
that's right,
Mm-mm.
but you can't see my stomach. That's what I said. That's all it is.
But if you did, it's my authentic self.
It
Thank
is.
you.
It is. But are you proud of me that I was able to catch it all? You proud of me? She said, you did good on that.
You're like,
Boy, I tell you.
this is, and then turn
And,
your shoulder, and then you look
and
like you're a bodybuilder.
that's what I'm saying. It's crazy stuff. Crazy stuff.
We do some wild stuff.
I
We do
know, and
wild
it's like
stuff.
it doesn't matter. It just
No,
doesn't matter.
it
And just
don't.
surrendering to that, it just doesn't matter. I thought it
Yeah.
was important. I spent a lot of my life thinking so, and it's
Hmm.
okay to go, wow, you were wrong. You were just wrong.
Yeah, you just a normal ass person. I'm just here trying to survive and thrive, more thrive than survive. And I'm trying to be free.
That's it.
Like,
Yeah,
my locks are not retwisted.
that's okay.
And I don't know when they're going to be. I didn't
Yeah.
recognize your eyebrows look amazing though. I didn't
Oh,
recognize
thanks.
all that. Yeah.
Oh, thanks. No, no, this is years of working real hard. And that's the one thing I don't do. I do not go outside this house without no eyebrows on because you'd be scared of me. And I want to make sure I'm identifiable by everybody. Because, like, what if I got into, God forbid, I get into a car wreck? I don't want them to misidentify me.
They're like, oh no,
Oh, no, that's not her.
there's no eyebrows. So I, I have had some. I used to have some really thick eyebrows, and then after I had my son, they started to kind of,
Yeah,
thin out. But
yeah.
what was wild is I just thought they were fine the way they were. And I started getting my nails done because I am a sophisticated woman now. And Kimmy, who does my nails, she's absolutely lovely. One day she says, should I do this? And I said, oh no, you don't need to. And she said, no, it would open your face up if you just let me, I'll clean it. I said, I don't want to look surprised and perplexed at the same time. So what I need you to do is just clean them up so they can look, just clean them up. I don't want you to thin them. I don't want you to do none of that stuff. She said, that's fine. Kimmy pulled me to the back and she laid me on the little bed thingy, and she was, and she's humming and, ooh, so pretty. You're gonna be so pretty. And then she finished, and I said, "Oh, okay, Kimmy, you did it." And then she says, "Should I get that mustache?" And I said, "Kimmy, I don't have a mustache." She says, "That's she did," like a hearty.
You should have told her that's part of the aesthetic. Get out of here.
I said, and she says, oh, "Let me show you." Before I can say anything,
no,
Kimmy put that hot wax on, and she put that strip and she patted it down, and Kimmy ripped that strip off, and my eyes started to water, and she threw it in my face and said, "See, look." And I said, "Oh, you might be right, but we can line that up next time because I'm not doing this anymore."
ever again. I am so sorry. You know, all these beauty crazes about spray this stuff on and then shave your whole face and do all this. And I said, now look here. Last time I checked, I'm a damn mammal. Okay.
Mammal.
I'm a mammal.
Hair.
I am not an amphibian. I'm a mammal.
You're a
And
mammal.
I am so sorry, but my day cannot be consumed with hair growth. I can't control.
I can't
I
control
just
this.
I can't be bothered. And you know what? As long as you get the real wiring one, and every woman, I'm entering that stage where I'm in.
Mm.
I'm getting close to perimenopause. I feel it, right? Life is
Mm-hmm.
happening. I feel I'm entering a new stage.
Mm.
But no, no, no. And yes, women are experiencing all these differences. But ma'am, no, no, no. I'm not going to be shaving, plucking, burning off, ripping
No,
off.
I can't. I don't have the time for that. And as I did this just now, when you said all the hairs, I'm feeling some very white stubble coming through,
Mm-hmm,
and it's sharp.
mm-hmm.
But can
The
you
wiry
imagine
ones.
the wiry? Can you
It's
imagine
true.
me just doing this all day?
No,
It's too
absolutely not.
much.
It's too much. Listen,
But
you want me to not have wrinkles and age spots and this and that, so I'm staying out the sun, but I kind of like the sun.
yeah, I like
And
to get.
I like to get a little chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get much, but
Mm-hmm.
I
I
want to
like
get
it.
a little
I
summer
like
color.
it. Me
You
too.
know, I like my
Yes.
summer. No, can't do that because you get the molds going and
Yeah.
I don't have time to appease. And I think that's the interesting thing too, is like as women get into these different stages, professionally too, your style changes, right? Like I am not going to this meeting in like 4-inch stilettos. It does not say anything about my intelligence. And my
Me.
feet hurt, my back hurt for the next 2 days
Right.
walking down to the Capitol like
Right.
that from the parking garage. And you know, it's just the parking garage to the Capitol is like
Right.
no feet.
But it doesn't matter. It hurts. Um, and I can't walk in heels. I look like I'm riding a horse. So I am not. That's going to take away from my credibility if y'all see me
Oh
come up in
Lord,
there. So I wear sneakers a lot.
that's right, girl.
I wear Birkenstocks.
Yes,
I work for myself. So I dress as I dress like myself, because
yes.
if I can't be authentic, then you're not going to get anything from me. If I'm sitting up there worried about stuff popping out, something being too tight because it looked good and is professional, and now I'm walking like a horse coming up in here, you are going to not trust me because I'm going to look nuts to you. So I wear as I literally had on my Tupac sweater the other day, and this
She was
person
like,
said,
"Dear Mama, what's up? You need some therapy." And she was like, "Yay, yay." Did you get a chuckle with the yay
Yeah. Yep. And they were like, I just love that you wear music shirts to our session.
You're like,
Yeah, because I don't know what else to do.
these are
My concert.
clothes.
These are my clothes. This ain't prom. I
No, this
don't
is,
know.
yeah, yeah,
I don't
no.
know how else to be. I dress as I feel. But Kimmy thought she was doing something by taking this mustache
Oh,
out.
absolutely not. Because guess what? I'm gonna put it back on in a couple days, so leave it alone.
Gonna,
Okay.
now it's gonna come in real thick. Now I'm gonna
No,
look like Tom Selleck.
and that's what, I'm like, listen, we do not, the amount of pressure. I was just talking to my kids about this. I was like, the collective of mothers, we're tired. And it's a different tired than our mothers had. And I think it's a lot of the technology stuff that's been added to it. I was
Hmm.
explaining to someone, I was like, I have maybe like 5 or 6 mailboxes that I monitor every day. And that is not including any other kind of like apps that provide feedback like school. Because school has, I think, 2 or 3 apps.
Hmm.
Doctor's office, this thing, tuition payment system, all this crazy business. And the moms do normally are in a lot of those frameworks or built into those frameworks of operations. Those are normally like those household management things that fall to moms, a
Hmm.
lot of moms.
Hmm. Hmm.
And collectively, we are exhausted. And so, yes, I did say no Easter baskets because I'm tired and I'm not going. I'm not going. And yes, I'm telling the world. You didn't know I called my sister, and she has 2 children the same age. And I said, listen, you don't buy them one either
Right.
because
Nobody's getting none.
if they
Gee.
get one, they're gonna call the
Hmm.
cousins.
Hmm.
Nobody gets one.
And Jesus didn't lay eggs, so we don't need to do that.
And he couldn't lay no $20 ones. It's coming out now, and you think about just the stress that and you know the stress that moms are having. They're the ones a lot of the times going to the grocery stores,
Yeah.
looking at these prices going up, negotiating, figuring, birthday, just all the things,
Right. And
all
to
the things.
dye them, so y'all gonna waste these eggs? Because y'all
No, we're
don't
not.
eat, these kids don't eat hard boiled eggs. I
No,
haven't
they
seen a
don't.
kid eat a hard boiled egg ever.
Mm-mm.
Y'all ain't wasting my eggs.
No, not my eggs, not my
No,
jelly beans.
no.
Listen, we're gonna sit here and eat one bag of jelly beans and call it done.
Not my Reese's bunnies. Not my
We're not.
chocolate
Nope. Mm-mm.
shaped
Cabbage, no,
carrots.
nothing. Carrots,
Nothing.
nothing,
Nothing.
nothing. Mm-mm.
Nothing.
And I think the stimulus checks had something to do with it too. Like people got their stimulus checks and was balling out of control. Like kids, you can have this. You can. And it's like this is very short term, but I think that the commercialism of things started like ramping up at that point in time because that's when they nowadays they're putting out things. Right, Christmas comes out when Halloween is out. Almost it feels like these days. And that happened during COVID because those shipping delays. And I feel like
Yeah.
it's never caught up. And now it's taking commercialism to a whole new height that I am just
Um,
not. Mm-mm.
I think I saw Christmas stuff at 4th of July time.
I wouldn't doubt it. I
I
wouldn't.
and I said it's still hot. I can't even mentally get involved with Christmas at this one. It's hot. It's it's like the gates of hell have opened, and y'all want me to
Really?
think about Christmas?
Christmas? As if I
Oh,
could get cold right now. If I could get cold, as
mm-mm.
if.
No, we're not doing this. I support your no Easter egg,
Thank you. Thank
Easter
you.
baskets.
Thank
Absolutely.
you. I
Mm-mm.
appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Clinically approved.
Check. If you need me to
Mhm.
write you a note for your kids, I'll write you letterhead and everything. Just y'all don't need this. Per the DSM-5.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Please, please give me an ICD-9 if you got one. Find one. Find one.
I will. I'll create something. I'll just put some together. As you are working for the state of California, which I too worked for the California Department of Public Health for 12 years.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I think in month 6, I realized, I said, ooh, I don't know if the state's for me. there's something about it that felt at the job that I had at that time that felt very mechanical, because it's like
Mhm.
you are, and at that time it was, I came in as an associate health program advisor. So it's like
Mhm.
this equivalent of an AGPA.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so you're like an, so everything is mechanical. Like you
Yeah.
have a task, and that's what you do every day.
Yes.
And I remember just saying, "Oh," and then but my son at the time was 4, and it was like, "Okay, I'm black, good government job, there's
Sure.
benefits, blah 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 blah."
Sure.
But I just felt, my spirit always felt trapped.
Mhm.
And the last job I had before I left, I loved it because I loved the people that I worked with. It was Black Infant Health.
Oh
So
yeah.
beautiful Black women who are incredibly smart and
Mhm.
dedicated. Love, love, love them down. But at a certain point, it was time. I was like Rochelle from Everybody Hates Chris. I was like, I don't need this. Like, I'd be in meetings like not
Mhm.
with my team, but my
Mhm.
team and other people,
Mhm. Mhm.
the other
Mhm.
folks.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I would say, I don't need this. I got
Mhm.
a few degrees
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
a license.
Yeah.
What
You're
am
like.
I what am I doing? And I would get like that. So then I started to, like how your body was telling you like this is disingenuous.
Mhm. Mhm.
I didn't think it was fair to these people that I
Mhm.
loved so much
Mhm.
and honored so much to keep bringing
Mhm.
that energy to work. And so
Yeah.
I had to make a decision for myself to say,
Yeah.
it's time, Chioko. Like, it's going to be scary, but
Mhm.
you got to go, girl, because I like I said, I loved them so much.
Yeah.
It wasn't fair. And I wasn't showing up 100% and all that stuff. So, had a transition, and you are balancing both. I was balancing a practice and balancing state life,
Mhm.
and I couldn't be all the things to all the things. And I'm curious on what your journey has been like, starting a business,
Mhm.
raising the babies,
Mhm.
being like, I'm here, I got tuition to pay for, I'm here.
Mhm. Mhm.
what has that what has that journey been like for you, to be sitting on something that is amazingly great,
Mhm.
and
I
just
want.
being like, oh, go ahead.
No, please, please, please. I'm so
No,
sorry.
I'm that's it. I It's amazingly great, period. And
You're so sweet.
you were walking from the the parking structure with your 4-inch heels,
Looks like dying.
two stops away, two hops.
Dying. Yes.
Right.
I
Yes.
I want to first acknowledge that um, the state sometimes can be a hard place for really smart people, interesting people, talented people. It's a box. Like, and I think folks oftentimes don't realize that when you're applying for these jobs, they don't want you. They want what they put on that paper. So while you're coming there with 50,000 degrees, and that is why they're hiring you, and they're telling you that's why they're hiring you
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because you're so smart and innovative and creative and this and that. No, no, but I need you to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And you doing that is not contributing to this.
Right.
And the funding source for this is not about that. And so
Right.
there becomes this, um, and especially if you're in like really large organizations like public health. I've had the pleasure of working at small organizations. I'm at a small one right now,
Yeah.
Department of Community Services and Development as an executive project manager. And I have to tell you that when you're in a smaller organization, you do have a better shot at growing organically, more organically, because everybody knows, what you're your kids, this is what you got going on, this is what
Mm-hmm.
you're good at, and you're able to find more opportunities to do different things. But that is not the case everywhere. And I've worked at larger organizations where you really like you have to email 3 people to get a piece of paper. And it's like, but this is a piece of paper that I need in order to get my benefits processed or what
Mm-hmm.
have you. And that bureaucracy is very drowning. And then also I think if you're an outcomes based person and somebody who's focused on change or transformational change, either because some people like change and some people like, I love
Oh,
transformational change. Okay.
yes. Yes.
And so for me, I need to see that on a regular basis, at a regular cadence, in
Mm-hmm.
order for me to feel fulfilled in a work setting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I was working at California Correctional Healthcare Services, which is the healthcare side of the prisons, and I had moved. I said I can't. That's not where it's at. That's not where it's at. And I knew that was not gonna be where it's at, even though I knew that somebody who was equity focused, who was diligent and hardworking, yes, they deserve this job so that you can help them do the right thing. But in the meantime, that box was not for me.
Mm-hmm.
That was not a box for me.
Mm-mm.
And I have found myself successfully navigating, and thankfully, I've been at the right place at the right time and I have a wealth of really good connections in the state service. But if you don't have that, and oftentimes they try to give a lot of people start like there. It didn't make any sense why you would start that low. Um, One of my services for my business is called the Cal Advance Plus program. I job match everybody like perfectly.
Oh,
And
that's
so we have
beautiful.
these long conversations because it's a burnout thing. It's a burnout job otherwise. People don't get vested. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like, no, I don't want you to come work here because guess what? You got to be here for 10 years for any thought of retirement to even come. So it's not worth it if you're not going to stick around. But I've been able to find my way and get enough experience in administration programs to where it's easier for me to do the work that I do
Yeah.
because I'm really experienced. And so I find the box that is able to give me enough mental bandwidth
Mm-hmm.
to do all the other things that I want to do. I'm
Mm-hmm.
a single mom, like for real single. Like,
For
like
real,
where they
for
at?
real.
Where they
Waiting on the Lord
at? Okay. No.
to tell them to
Okay.
move.
Move. Okay. So, it's me and my kids. And so they run track. They're super involved playing soccer. And for me, I'm at their school as much as I can be
Yeah.
because I want to show up for the single mamas. I want to show up as a black woman who is empowered and good and kind.
Mm-hmm.
And they deserve it. And so for me, balance is important. I do not kill myself and I take lots of breaks and rest. And I will say no. I will say, you know what? I overcommitted. Is there something I can do to repair this relationship? Do this, do that. But I just can't take on more than I can. The reason
Mm-hmm.
I haven't left the state is because I'm aware that a long time ago somebody said, I was at this business thing and they were talking about funding and they're like, well, when do I get a business loan? When should I get a business loan? The question kept coming up and all the funders just did not have an answer. And then finally, this guy from the SBA, Small Business Association, he says, if you have to ask if you're ready, then you're not ready. And there is such truth to that. And when I ask myself, are you ready to go out on your own? I know I'm not ready.
Yeah.
I enjoy the comfort and the protection of a full time job. And
Mm-hmm.
until my kids get a little bit more stable, that makes sense to me. But
Mm-hmm.
it is very much a balancing act. I give my full time job that pays all my bills attention the way it's supposed to and the way it deserves because I do support low income Californians. So I don't cheat them. And I don't think about the people at work. I think about them. I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
not going to cheat them.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely a balancing act.
Well, what would you say to someone who is like how I used to be in those meetings, like, "Mm-mm, I don't need this. I got, like, what would you say to someone who is like, I want to start a business.
Hmm.
I work for whoever. It could be the state, it could be anybody. But I want to start a business. When is the right time to leap? When is How do I know? What is it that I need? Is there a formula to this, or is it just a feeling? What do you think?
I think there's definitely formula, right? So you have to have enough time in your schedule. You have to have enough bandwidth generically.
Hmm.
But I also think that there's an intuitive nature to everything that exists and to know if you're ready to enter a season of change. Because when you start a new business, you're not going on vacation. Like my business has been up and going for six years. I get a weekend trip. I get a weekend here. I got a Hawaii there. But no, I'm here. I'm locked in. I'm doing what I need to do, and thankfully that fuels me. And so the vacations aren't really always necessary. But I think that unless you're in that space to where you're like, no, I'm gonna eat at home because every dollar that I got is going into this business because you're gonna be tied up.
Oh yeah,
And
you broke.
I know unless you're I think what I ask people is like, what are you willing to give up? And if they're not in a period of sacrifice for themselves,
Hmm.
then there's just not readiness. And those are just simple questions to ask people. So are you ready to, stop talking to your dude because he get on our nerves anyway? And you just need to tell him you got to wait 6 months until you can sell the first thing. But just give
Mm-hmm.
them all that stuff to go. Are you ready? Are you ready to tell your kids, hey, mom, I had one lady, she co-slept with her kids. They were old. And I was like, so you telling me because you need to stay up at night too. We got stuff we got to do. And I said, you need to give up the codependency so that you can move forward because this is for your kids. So if you're not going to give this up, how are we going to? That's real. That's sacrifice to say something that brings me comfort. I'm going to have to break up with it.
Yeah.
And most often it's dysfunctional stuff.
Mm. Okay. Well, some folks ain't gonna want to hear that.
I know. I know.
Because it's true. It's
It's
true.
true.
I mean, sometimes I'll always say like that makes you comfortable. It's like no, it doesn't. No, yes, it does. It may not. You may know that it's not good, but it's homeostasis. You just kind of
Hmm.
go back into it. You have to disrupt the norm. And I don't have vacation time. I don't have sick time. And
Mm-mm.
there have been times where I'm like, I think as this COVID Lord,
I know.
what is this? I mean, I'm like, I'll be behind screen. I'm like,
Yes.
but I've had headache. I mean, there's just not, unless it is severe, then I'm like, okay. But
Yeah.
I don't get to go on vacations, or there's not even money, like
Correct.
because you're starting a business. So
Right.
I think they think it's something else. It's
Delulu. I said, Delulu. The other thing for me, Choco, and this one is because I help a lot of people. So I've worked in government for all these years, and I have worked in procurement, and I've worked in contracts and grants and all that stuff. And so I can help you, right, and bid on this contract. I can help you, right. When you talk to people, it's like you. Why would they buy that from you for that much, though? And it's so hard to explain to people. And you said it to me today already. You said, but you're not special. And you tell people they're not special and they don't understand that actually your experience is atypical. Your business is atypical and there's not a differentiator. And then that's where the MBA I start talking to from the MBA because I'd be confused.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you've been in business for 2 minutes. You want to charge these people how much money? And it's all that stuff, and it's also what I see with a lot of black businesses is not being ready before it's time, right? So they launch before it's time, and it's like it's okay if that on ramp is longer. If you got to extend it again, oh, big deal, right? Because you're going to be
Mm-hmm.
so ready that once you fly, you just stay in the sky, right? They don't do that, and they just go for it without having all those building blocks in place. And what happens is you flame out too fast. You didn't have a reserve. You didn't account for this government license that you had to get. You didn't account for shipping delays. Now we got tariffs going on, and I can't help you be realistic. And again, those are the people I don't work with very long.
Right, because you have to ask I think it's good to work with someone who can ask you those questions, because
Yeah.
yes, you want to be compensated for what you are worth. You want to have or feel like you are valued and you're bringing in something. But like if you're making lip gloss And this ain't nobody real, I guess. And you're trying to charge me $32 for this lip gloss. Like, I want to support you. I will support Black businesses all day long.
I'm not supporting them. Don't
But
come over here with that lip gloss. I ain't
that
buying it.
I can't buy, and I'm
Mm-mm.
allergic to a lot of products on my
Yeah, I'd be like,
lips.
no, I'm allergic too. I'm allergic too.
I really, my lips will start breaking out. I need.
So guess what? I caught it. I'm not getting it neither. I'm gonna tell you something that you said that you just, and that is so true. And that's an interesting conversation that you as a therapist, I'd love to hear your thoughts on.
Mm.
Um, the concept of worth. I get into these. It feels almost spiritual battles with people, right? Because they equate their mental awareness of self, right? Because knowing your worth, right? Your that you should be respected, that you should be
Mhm. Mhm.
considered
Mhm.
is different than your worth as an exchange on a dollar value.
Yes.
And it gets conflated into into and I'm like, girl, you ain't worth that. What are we talking about here? And it
Yeah.
is so true to to have the conversation to go, yes, you should be proud of yourself. You should
Absolutely.
hold yourself in high esteem.
Mhm.
However, we have to negotiate how this converts into a dollar value in a competitive market of people held in esteem as well. It,
Mhm.
it feels like I'm talking over people's heads. I'm like,
No, you're absolutely right. There is a difference. I think capitalism. Now I'm going to sound like capitalism,
please,
but
yes, yes.
I believe that it makes us confuse life and bullshit.
Mm, mm,
And one of the things that I will, even if I think about it, like I'll talk to people about like self care, right? Which is a very capitalist.
they want Kimmy to wax you. That's self care.
That's
That's
my
not
self
it.
care. That's not it.
That's not it.
And so I will talk about like, what are you doing for self care? Well, I don't have any money to like. Well, that's not what it is. It's about what connects to self, that centers you, that grounds
Mm,
you. Like when I think about grounding, I always think about being barefoot. I was a
mm,
kid, I grew up in a rural community as well, and I was a kid that trekked
mm-hmm.
barefoot with my red wagon, my radio flyer, with my
Yep.
books. And the thing, my radio flyer rusted, and I
Mm,
couldn't have my doll sitting on that rust. And I used to
mm.
get my grandma's good towels and sheets, and she would be hotter than fish grease,
Oh
but
my
she would
goodness.
support it. But she would say,
Mm,
let me give you some that you can use. Like, why can't your dolls,
mm-hmm.
who are these heifers, to be sitting on my quality towels?
These is for guests. These fellows ain't guests.
Right. These heifers have been here. No, I'm not. And I had a lot of dolls. I mean, they would take
Oh,
shifts. I would go pick some up, drop them off like a little
I love
bus.
that.
But that was like when I think about grounding, my feet go
Mm-hmm,
into soil.
mm-hmm,
My feet go into wood chips.
mm-hmm,
My
mm-hmm,
feet go into like, and that doesn't cost me anything but to have
mm-hmm.
dirty ass feet. That's all
That's
it's
right.
going to cost me.
That's right.
But I will talk to people like that. But we have it so confused. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, no, the real self care is looking inward.
Yeah.
That is self care. And it's not a quick fix. It doesn't go away with a massage. There's not enough self care to make me forget that I'm an oppressed Black woman in this
Okay.
society that is not designed for me.
Sure.
And that in itself, there is not a massage, a Kimmy,
No cure for that one.
no cure for
Mm-mm,
that. So,
mm-mm.
what do I do to get quality self care? I have to
I
look
love that.
inward. What are the things that are disconnected in me that are triggering these responses of imposter syndrome,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
of not feeling good enough, not feeling like I have enough, not feeling like this world
Yes.
is created for me, right?
Yes.
That is the real self care. And so, when people tell me, well, my worth is this, and I'm like, okay, let's pull that apart. As an individual, as an individual, what is your self-worth? What are your
Mm-hmm,
values?
mm-hmm.
Because if we can say what our values are, then we won't accept anything less. Like I do extra. Like if you pull any of my clients, which I can't tell you, they can't tell. I can't tell. They can say who. Everybody can say I work with Choke or whatever. I can't confirm it. But
Sure.
like I will do value exercises. Like what are your greens, yellows, reds? So the things
Thank
that
you.
make you go, the things that make you proceed with caution, and
Mm,
the absolute stops. What are
mm,
those things that you do? What are the
mm-hmm,
things? And because once we find that out, then we align with others.
mm-hmm.
That's how we determine our value. It does not
Oof.
equate to a dollar. I
Listen,
as
how many people don't know that they're supposed to have personal values? Oh, that they should know what they are. Like,
and
can I
that's
say this
usually
to?
the first thing I do in
I know.
sessions.
Same. What do you believe in? And
What do-
who are you?
who are
Oh,
you?
who are you?
Who
Oh no.
are you as an individual? As a
Mm-mm,
citizen of this world?
mm,
Who are you? And it's going
no.
to change. We evolve as people, so it's going to evolve.
Mm-hmm,
But it is fascinating. But like as a therapist, like there's these conversations among therapists even like
mm-hmm.
about the amount that it costs to go to therapy, right? And it's expensive.
Yeah.
And unfortunately insurance does not want to reimburse, so a lot of therapists are going to cash only, right?
Mm-hmm,
And I remember telling this coach, she was on the show, Dr. Bibbs, I was like, I I just want to be a therapist for the community. And this, that, and the third. And she was like, but does that mean that you
what is?
cannot charge? Like you provide this service, right?
Oh, I hear the business coming. You know, you just came up. You know, you did right just right now.
What I do?
You
What
came
did
up
I?
with a business just right now. How do you bring? So California has started a free offering for teens for mental health, and it's got apps, but it's generic, right? System based, which never gets it there.
Yeah.
You have the ability to figure out a new model that
Mm.
provides there's been all these I have mental health because I'm like, fix me. I'm looking around to get fixed all the time. But they've done there's a barber project out of Philadelphia that started to go around the nation, right? But
Mm-hmm.
there's the need of, to your point, of helping expand access but through accessible points, and you can't be everywhere at
Child, you,
shocker.
oh, let me tell you. I said, oh, I can't. Like everybody don't like me, and that's fine. That's number one. Secondly, like if I were to do that, I would be
Hmm.
burnt out. Like what are so I have to think like what are the other
we're
things that I
gonna
could do? We gonna
we're gonna
talk.
talk we don't talk
We're
because
gonna talk it out because yeah.
this is what happens. This is what happens when I start talking to women. We start talking and we're having like a girlfriend conversation, right? Like this is how I coach. Like it's girlfriends talking and then I'll finally hear what it is. I'll
Mm-hmm.
hear what it is that's trapped in your brain. So I've already found two deliverables that you need. You need help, right? Okay. You need help writing a book. Actually, three.
Where's the
You
three?
need an accountability partner for
Yeah.
school so you can stay encouraged,
Oh
engaged,
Lord,
right?
yeah.
Just
It's,
some
ooh,
support.
child.
Just be like, girl, I love you. I got you. I love you. I got you. Tell me
Yeah.
what you're learning so I can learn about the new DSM updates for psychopathy. Okay. There's that.
Yes.
They're starting to scope out that beautiful book of yours that's going to change people's lives. And you deserve to have your most intimate thoughts that are generous and kind and profound to be elevated from post-it note into print. And then three, I hear you crafting a business that helps to reach the people that you know you are missing that you would love to work with.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because come on,
that
Miss Cleo.
you
Come
said that though.
on,
You
Miss Cleo.
said that. You said that.
I'm like, yeah, because I'm like, I can't. I mean, I get it, like the accessibility piece, but also, like I just said, we live in capitalism, and I can't live off top ramen, and
Mm-mm.
I've done it in college,
Mm-hmm.
and I
Mm-hmm.
don't even think the way that my family's blood pressure, their hypertension is set up,
Can't take it no more.
that's not gonna work for
Mm-mm.
me. I'm not
Mm-mm.
gonna try to shoot myself up in the
Mm-mm.
numbers. So
No.
yeah, we gotta. There has to be another way of
I,
accessibility.
I think there's another way. and I'd love to. I don't want to put it on here so that somebody pick up what I'm putting down, but no, I think we should definitely talk about it because also I think there's the cultural competency around. I speaking. I know. I just actually met him recently. His name is Michael Best, and he's a therapist, and he has
Mm,
a podcast as well. I'll introduce you guys
yeah,
somehow.
love it.
Eh, Great, and I think that there's not a lot. The Black therapist space is thin, right? But also like the Black equity therapist space is thinner. It's thin. But I do see the need for having more organic ways to address mental health concerns. What Michael does is he actually does a lot of street interviews with like different
Oh, that's pretty
locals.
cool.
Yeah, like local celebrities, people at different events and stuff, and he asks them like their mental health strategies and things like that. Very cute, engaging,
Yeah, pretty cool.
and I see how those things are helpful. The barbershop, I see how those are helpful. The sister circles, all those sorts of premises of engagement.
Mm-hmm.
The meeting those, I think the longitudinal is the problem, right? Not that short, but to make sure we
Mm-hmm.
effectuate change. That's the thing, right? To
Right.
get that cycle, exactly. We gotta, because then otherwise you can't count the outcome. And I'm just saying, you hear what I'm saying?
I
Because
hear, I see what you have shimmied down to the floor. I see that you shimmied it down and you bringing it back up.
bring that back up.
I see it. I see.
No, I appreciate it. And if you give me I'm going to actually think about it. And this is also what I do. I will draft something for you and give it to you to think
You
about.
be
Like,
drafting
just
stuff? Oh,
because remember, working for the state, it was like being in college indefinitely, right? So, you're in college and there's just a churn and burn on write this thing, it's graded, who cares? Write this thing, it's graded, who cares, right?
mm-hmm.
I have created so many things. And as a project manager now, half of everything you make is thrown away because that's how IT projects go and different
Oh,
projects go. So
yes, yes.
yeah, it's a churn and burn. And that's my passion is to create things. And the difference is I know whatever I create, me and you will work to refine it and it'll have something. It'll be something in the end. Even if it's just a piece of your heart that you'll grow later,
Yeah.
I know that'll be good.
I just love that you be given stuff to respond to because I be sitting up there like I can't even. I wrote the one day I wrote my name and was writing my maiden name all day. I can't even think about right. And I have not been Chiyoko Hollis since 2014. But this whole day I was like Chiyoko Hollis, writing things down.
That's okay.
On my birthday, I'll put 6182 every time for the whole day. Like it's just natural. So if I can't handle that sometimes,
You're the same age as my sister, my next older sister. That's why I like you so much.
look at us.
That is what it is. I was like, is that what it is? That's what it is. Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, listen. Product
Yes.
sold.
Oh, girl, I almost broke the computer. Yes.
You hand
Damn
me
it.
something, I'm like, oh, I can react to shit all day.
I know, and most people, and most people can, and I know that that's my gift, and I know I can't explain that to people. Like, oh, okay, well, you can talk about what makes you interested, and you can talk about what you do, and I'll go build it for you.
Mm-hmm.
That is something I can't explain, and so when I try to tell people what I do, I'm like, well, it's very intangible. And but
Yeah.
I look forward to you being able to go, oh, okay, I see what you can do, and for you to be able to like, oh, okay, I see.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because
That's
guess
a
what? Them post-it notes is gonna be your book, boo. But you're gonna, I can't wait. I can't wait.
I mean, I had to hire a. I don't call her the assistant because I
The
said,
VA.
she is my executive support specialist. I
Okay.
said I don't do it like that. Just sounds so my assistant. I didn't like that.
Diminishing. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like that. She does more than that. But I will tell her if you give me something to react to,
Yes.
because my
Yes.
brain, I'm like, I just give, and
Well,
I will tell you like no, or yeah, that's totally me. That sounds like me. Yeah.
but also your brain is in CEO space, right? So to hop out of CEO space of building strategy operations and move back into development, that is like,
Uh, uh, when I told her, I said, I need you to help me create systems. And she said, Chioko, what systems? I'm like, girl, I don't know. Create them and then I'll react. She was like, wait a minute. Like, I need systems. I was like throwing these words in the systems. And she
yeah,
was like, what,
what
what,
do that mean?
what system? Girl, you know systems. Things that make things tick. Because I'm a very big picture person.
Sure, sure,
And
sure.
so to dial that back, so I always connect with people who are very like this is
Linear.
the
Hmm.
yeah, because I'm
Hmm.
like, and then I just talk
Yes.
show, and then I just
No, you're in CEO mindset.
I'm all
That
the
is where
time.
you're supposed to be. Can't you feel good about, wow, like actually I took my role seriously and I've ascended to the point where I'm no longer responsible for that. Like that is,
Oh,
you
come
know,
on,
like
shimmy,
that
come on,
mindset. Come on.
shoulder.
Because honestly and truly, that's what we're looking at. And I think that is a good point too. And I talk to this with a lot of other Black women who are business owners as well. Is the multiplicity that you have to have when you're running your own business and how exhausting it is and how there aren't really a lot of places for you to replenish. But knowing that you need to be ready to where you can start investing in yourself but
Yeah.
to stop thinning yourself out. And it does come with help from collaboration, right? We're
Mm-hmm.
collaborating now. We're going to collaborate in the future, partnerships,
Yes.
those free exchanges, but like the business to business exchange that I do with Black women oftentimes is on the free ski. And then when you get ready to pay, we cool
Look at you.
because
Look at
because I
you.
but that's what I mean about the communities, right? Where
Yeah.
you're looking at
It's
different
collective.
business communities, Latino business communities, Asian business communities, and they rally behind those businesses to ensure that they are become staples and that they aren't able to break down after the first year, second year, or after those groups walk away. And we do not make those investments in our own community. And I say to myself, but why not? Because in true, and this is a faith thing, if I actually believe that God is who I say he is, who I know he is, who he told me he was, then if I help Chioko with an open heart, with a joyous heart, and just help her help people, because she's going to help so many people, she's going to help so many people, it's just going to make me sick to think about all these people whose lives are changed, then don't I get blessed equally? And I do every single time. And that's why I've been saved from harm. My kids are prosperous. That's a sticker, but nonetheless, I got flowers around
You
me.
got
Okay. All right.
I got these flower decals because the flowers are blooming.
Okay. And I got my cotton up there because I ain't playing with
You
y'all.
do, you do, you do,
I am.
you
And it's
do.
like the reality is that no, we need to reinvest. You saying, hey, you've got a business, you've got a book, I'm going to invest in you and allow you.
Yep.
It's permission. I'm going to allow you to set place on my stage. Now, when you get those folks, are they repaying that allowance? And that's where it's at. That's where the exponential growth is going to be. If I take all my gifts and I don't actually use them and I don't actually use them for good, there's not going to be exponential growth in this world. I'm not going to see the fruits of my labor. I'm limiting them.
Oh,
And so, yeah, I'm going to give what you need, girl, because
come
guess
on,
what?
deaconess. Come on,
It's gonna,
deaconess.
it's gonna restore me too. You know, I'm gonna see you smile and I'm gonna feel good. My goodness. You're gonna be like, wow. And I'm gonna go, wow, you see me? You see I did a good job? Wow.
Mm, you, you,
That,
come on, Winans. One of
I
them.
know, because, and I think that's the complication in our community right now, in the Black community. It's like we're not gonna make it that way. Right now, we're in a time in this nation where inflation is too high. Jobs are starting to be lost at rates that we don't understand. Um,
Mm-mm,
the climate is all wiggly, wiggly, wiggly crazy. You can't get any food that ain't gonna kill you.
mm-mm.
And you think I'm gonna turn my back on you when you got a good idea? No, baby, you about to get out there and make that good idea something so that you bring something to your son and your son brings it. We don't look at curing generational ills as a whole. We just
See, and that is so powerful because that is the thing. It is the collective healing. How do we
Mm-hmm.
heal like we cannot do it in isolation. We can't. And there will be times like I feel like the ancestors will speak to me all the time. Like
Mm-hmm.
it won't even make sense. And I will
Mm-hmm.
shoot up in bed in the middle of the night, like, let me write this down. And I'll
Please
wake up
do.
my husband, I'll say, I have an idea. He'll be like, write it down.
Oh, Dan, I love him already. I love him so much.
He's like, write it down. Good job, babe. And it won't even be for me. Sometimes the idea, like maybe you'll say something, I'll be like, I have this idea. You need it, like it's not even mine. And I feel like I can't hoard that. That doesn't belong to
Right.
me. But I was
Right.
told to give it to somebody else. I just didn't know how. But I'll just store
Beautiful.
this idea for later. And like, I don't make deviled eggs like that.
Mm-mm.
Let me go ahead and pass
Girl,
this over.
let me put that jalapeno juice in there. Shows my brother. But there's so much warmth in a black woman.
Mm,
I see it because my kids go to a school where it's primarily white. I won't lie. It's very diverse in the non-white children, but it is primarily white.
yeah.
And my kids have gone there since they've been little, and I go there and I see how the kids, when I give them a hug, like if I'm like, hey, and I go give them a hug and they hold on to me, and I'm like, why is my hug different to where you want to come give me a hug every time you see me? And over time, as my kids grew up, I realized it wasn't because I was the funny mom or the fun mom or I brought snacks. It was because I was warm to them. I was kind to
Mm-hmm.
them. I reinforced it. And there's such a warmness generically in the maternal sense in Black women. And it just feels like some slavery vestige or something that we don't take care of each other. And I don't understand what that is, but I guess what your podcast is doing is giving folks permission to restore and to heal that bond
Mm,
and to allow for that trust to be generically repaired and for there to be grace washed over it so you can say, hey, we can be in communion, we can be kind to each other, we can be joyful together, there is no competition. And that is so needed. And
yeah.
you're right about that collective healing and to have that space to say, hey person, I'm here for you. And you're like, and it's so many women, don't you see the surprise, like, you're gonna help me, you're gonna be kind to me. And it's like, absolutely, I'm gonna
Yeah.
treat you like my sister.
Come on,
I'm gonna
girl. That's like
I'm
when
gonna
you told me, when you introduced yourself to me on email, and you had a PowerPoint pretty much. It was, and number one, this is my name. Number two, this is what I do. Number three, here's the link to this. And I said, okay, so, like, and it was in the morning. I said, all right, come on. I was like, I'm not. I'll look at that later. I come on, like that. I was like, book check. Love books. The name beautiful. Number two, very simple.
I love you. Thank
Very
you so much. That's
simple. Oh,
kind.
I
That's
love
so
you
kind.
too. And this is our
You're so
first time
kind.
meeting.
I know. And I'm like, I love her. I love you. I love your family, the way I envision your family dynamic. I just love it. I love it all.
I'm just happy. I'm happy that
Yes.
you're here. Okay,
Thank
we've
you
been
so
on here
much.
for a long time, but I'm gonna
Yes.
ask you, how do you define your blackness?
Ooh. I tell people this all the time, and some black people don't like it. But I am a blurred. I'm a black nerd. Okay. So my blackness is characterized by oddities, weirdness, interesting things, nature.
Yeah.
I think a lot of black people center themselves in like pop culture, but to me, blackness is sitting out in the sun and getting extra tan. It's make your mom making you hand pies and you just sitting out with your friends and eating it. It's having an old boondocks joke that you guys. It's looking at each other and having this sense of understanding. And if you're black, if you know, you know. Okay,
You
sometimes
know,
I'm
you
with my
know.
kids and I see them growing and I see, oh, they're not just kids anymore. They're turning into black women. We'll be somewhere and I'll go, and they'll go, girl. And I said, blackness is a sense of communication and
Yeah.
awareness. And it's so, to me, I think we can see whiteness sometimes, right? We can see it in capitalism. We can see it in policies. We can see it in so many. Blackness is so enveloping and visible. You can't see it. You couldn't lock it down if you want to. And I think that's why a lot of people try to capitalize and to read or create, and they just miss.
Mm.
And it's because it's like, if you know, you know. But if you don't naturally know, then you're being in the imposter syndrome phase, and
Oh,
you try to.
oh,
And I think that's the thing. It's like appreciation is one thing, but I think pretending and wanting to feel the affinity of someone else's experience that you have not earned from generations to come, that's not fair. And it happens a lot of times too with Latino culture, Asian culture, where you're looking at these women, they've got this slick back ponytail, and you're like, wait a minute, I know my Latina sister over there, she's been rocking that since 1994. I've been watching her. And you're like, but wait a minute. And that's fine. We're all going to be I participate in white culture daily. So it's not like we can't participate in each other's cultures and appreciate them. I will go to a Western festival in a hot minute. Okay. But
okay.
okay. Oh, listen, we go line dancing. I'm gonna call you.
Oh,
Uh
I don't know how to do all that because I don't like take instructions. I'd be like,
that, that'll be me in the back just spinning around in a circle.
I'm like, I don't need you to tell me what to do. I know what the music is saying. I
Yes,
don't.
that's right.
I don't
That's
need.
right.
I don't
Okay.
need pointing it out. Yeah,
Okay.
I'll be in the
Will
back
you
too.
stand by the table? Yeah, I'm like, we'll be in the table in the back by the
Mm-hmm.
drinks. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. I'm gonna do the same thing because I can't.
I know.
Um, but yes, I think it's like Black is so creative. It's so creative. Sometimes I'd be like, how did I just do these kids' hair? That's a hairstyle. Um, in food and culture, in movies and everything. And I think to be reduced to a word or to a concept is unfair and doesn't really describe what is. But Black is it's invisible. It's just something warm and pervasive.
It sounds like a feeling. Like it's a
Yes,
feeling.
I love that. Yes, yes.
Mm.
And I think that's why people probably try to put it on and go, "Hey, I'm Black," and it's like, no, you don't feel how I feel.
Uh-uh. You can't.
Mm-mm,
No.
mm-mm.
No. 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 No.
No,
No. No. I
I can
can.
explain it.
Yeah. I can give you the
Yeah,
Lowry's to
yes,
season it,
yeah.
but you can't do it in the same way.
Mm-mm. But you only put Lowry's, and you didn't put no Sloppy Mama, no Tony Chachere's, no
Mm-mm.
gumbo filet. It
Mm-mm.
still tastes like Lowry's.
Yep. No toe touches. No shimmy. Because when you make
No
a good
shimmy.
pot of something, you like, oh.
You're like, oh. I'm telling you. Okay, last night we made tamales at my house. I made carnitas from scratch for the first time, refried beans from scratch, rice from scratch,
Okay.
and I made tamales from scratch. And I'm like, it don't taste like a nice Mexican woman's tamales, but I'll still eat it. It's the reckoning of knowing that you are not what somebody else is, but you appreciate what they have given you and that you've
Mm-hmm.
shown you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's why Blackness, it can't be explained because either you're in it or you're not. Just not.
You're just not,
You're just not.
yeah, you are not. I love that. That's like one of the best definitions I've heard of that. Like I'll ask people every now and then because there is a struggle. There are some people who come to me
Hmm.
even in therapy and be like, I was raised in this environment and I've never felt Black. I'm like, what? Black is an essence.
Yes,
Who
yes,
are you? And then that is
yes,
what Black is. Like
yes.
it's not a you don't it's not a cookie cutter approach like you're not Black or you are like you can
Yeah.
be if you're a Black person. How do you express your Blackness?
I think it's all the problems. And I grew up in South Sac, but my parents were not allowing us to talk. We had to talk properly. Okay.
They're military and this is how you present and it's a respectability politics.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. And so patterns of speech, very important. Respect, very important. We would be at parades. We'd be at all these different American style things. We're very Americana, right? And rural
Mm-hmm.
too. So very Americana, block parties, just no. I think that over time, especially when I was in school, there would always be this attack, right, of Blackness because it wasn't a same. It was an in out group situation. And it was easier for them to diminish my intelligence and my pattern of speech than to move me into the fold and figure out how to maneuver around me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that has been the interesting thing is it doesn't matter. And I think you also get into these situations with the diaspora where you look at, and they look, different folks from different countries, they look at blackness so differently.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very hard to distill it down, I think. So when you say the essence of, like, if you took a roller ball of some sort of perfume and you rubbed it on your wrist and
Mm-hmm.
then you have that faintness of it, that's about right.
Mm. Mm. And you've said this a few times with several or a few different questions, but I'm going to ask you, what does liberation look like for you? And you would be like, at the
Ooh,
end of the question, that's liberation. I was like, okay,
yes.
okay, sis, we ain't at the end of the interview.
I love you so much. You're so funny. Um, Liberation to me is deciding that you're going to be as unapologetically you as possible. I had so many years of pretending to be someone else, of following the structure, listening to my parents to that degree as well, breaking all those molds. The other thing for me is having the freedom to be joyous whenever you want to. I think a lot of people lose their child self through trauma, and life, and while they might repair the trauma so they can take care of the PTSD, take care of all that other stuff,
Mm-hmm.
they never go back and go get little kid self. And I have gone back and grabbed Sylmia and I said, "Come on, little girl." And when I struggle, even with the imposter syndrome, when I really struggle, I visualize myself talking to my smaller self, and I know what outfit I'm wearing, I know what picture I'm looking at, I know where I was at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And liberation allows me to be that little girl as a grown woman here safely and not care that I'm being free. I'm free right now. You can't do anything about my happiness. You can't do anything about my joy. You can't do anything about the fact that I'm unbothered by what you think of me, that I'm largely worry free in my own body. And that is to be caged your whole life with trauma and thoughts and this and that, and to finally go, and I'm gonna say something that's gonna be too many bad words, but this girl I know, she always says, just don't have any more F's to give. You just don't need no more.
I was waiting. I was like, wait, drop it. But you,
And I wasn't gonna really drop her.
oh yeah, I be
Look, call
dropped.
me later. I would drop it if we call me later, but just gonna stay on the internet for a while until.
Right.
But right, right. But honestly, it's like I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
I think what matters most to be liberated is to care so much about yourself that nobody else matters in terms of their opinion. You care about their wellness, their well-being, but even your well-being can't top mine. Like I have to and I think that's amazing, and
Oh,
it is. It's amazing to have.
mm, look at you, just
Look at
shining,
you.
just just shining bright.
Tell you.
You
It
bet.
took a long time, and I'm grateful for therapists like yourself that are compassionate, resilient, because I don't know how you all do it, because it would like, don't call me. So I appreciate the fact that this is a career path that people elect to take. I still don't understand. And that, they come back to work. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I'm so grateful, because I would be like, no, no, no.
It is. I told somebody that they were like, it's all because of you. I said, no, it's you. You've done the work. I was like, only thing I do is show up and I listen, I ask questions. But for you to take whatever I'm saying, whatever the conversation is between the two of us, for you to
Hmm.
take that and go off and make it into what it needs to be made into, that's all you, because I don't go home with you. So you're doing. And they're like, well, sometimes I'll be in a situation and I'll hear you
You
say,
said,
girl. And I was like, I don't even sound like that. I don't know why you are making my voice sound like that. But Got
Why
it.
are you personifying me in that way? Because
Right.
I didn't.
I don't even act in that way, but I told this person, I'm like, it's so beautiful to be able to watch, for you to trust me so much, where you do
Mhm,
not know
mhm.
me from a can of paint, to share your deepest, darkest, or to you, darkest
Mhm.
secrets, and to cry and to snot bubble and to
Yeah.
roll around, and to be safe enough to say, I'm going to do it with this person, and for me to be able to watch that, and to watch you
Mm.
from one place to go to the place that you are like, this is my healthiest self, and to graduate you from my care, where I'm like, you
Yeah.
don't need me right now, let's
Mm.
take a let's take a beat. That to me
Mm.
is like one of the most rewarding aspects of being a therapist. There are some
Mm.
days when I'm like,
Don't call me.
don't, just shh, shh,
Don't call
shh,
me.
shh, shh. Like you, we've been talking about this for 72 weeks.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, don't call. Don't come back with this. I'm telling you, it's a. I very much. I pray for your restoration daily, and that you are able to continue to do the thing that not many Black women have even signed up to do in this life. And I mean, in this lifetime, you are probably amongst what, tens of thousands of Black women who have ever become, like, it's not some extensive,
It's a
pervasive
small
community.
percentage. You see one, you're
Yes.
like, "Ah!" It's like seeing Michael Jackson. You just fall out, and oh my gosh, you're a therapist. I'm a therapist. Like, it is a whole ordeal.
That's what I'm saying. And so it's like, I do. I pray for your restoration, and I pray that you're able to find the way to ensure that you're able to help many without spreading yourself too thin. Because
Mm,
that is what where it's at. Is we cannot get another one of you.
mm.
Everybody's still going to maintain all the problems that they have, and they're going to keep growing and growing and growing. Every day, new problem for a new. Nope, nope, nope. We can only have one of you. So making sure that you stay in the esteem and the place where you need to be so that you can continue to do this work for as long as you care to. And
Yeah.
allowing yourself the freedom to decide when is this time too, because it will come a time for that as well, where you're able to take those lessons that you've learned through practice and to shift them into a different space that's able to help others. And I know that time will come too, because you got that about you where it's like, oh no, I see you got something up under there. Oh no. And that's exciting.
It's exciting. Yes, it is.
It's exciting. I'm serious. I'm looking at you right now,
I know.
trying
I see the
not to
eye.
prophesy over you like,
I
I don't
see
want to prophesy.
you got an eye and an eyebrow up. The like
Hmm.
opposites.
Yes, it's because it. I'll put that one lay down because I think that's what it is like. And let me ask you a question.
Hmm.
What is your support system like that's helping you to grow your business?
Ciao. So
And that's what I mean. We need you.
I know I have now my executive support specialist.
Hmm.
Um and my husband,
Yeah.
my son who went on sabbatical. He did tell me he was going on sabbatical.
Yeah, I'm sure he did.
And I was like, spell it. And like, and friends and mentors, but it's more of the, you got this, girl. Keep
Mm-mm,
going, right? Like,
mm-mm.
you you do you doing it like that, but it's
Okay, I'm your first. I know it's like girl dating. It's girl business
I
dating where
know.
it's like,
Look at us
where I'm
matched.
saying matched, okay? Where you're a matchmaker and we're matched. And
Yes, we're
I think
matchmaker.
that, I have women where I'm like, and they help me get there. Sylmia, you need to think about this. And you're always helping to hear people say, you're always helping me, let me help you. And then I'm able to receive help and I don't have to wait till I need help. That has been a process, but
The way I covered my face with this keyboard.
but I promise you that that is what I am going to be to you so that you can get what you need because again, that is such a real thing. You help so many people. I'm just so happy to help you.
Mm,
I'm just so happy to help you. And I know it's just gonna it's the small things that matter. And it's like, man, that matters, right? If I help you do one tiny thing,
mhm.
or you can call me and go, would you write it like this? Or what? That's me. Send it to me. I will rewrite it for you, rescope it out, tell you what you're missing, fix the budget for you. And I think
Fix the butt, girl.
I
You
know,
said nothing
I
but a
know.
word. I just.
You got the call. We'll set up some time and we can, make sure you get what you need to so that you have at least, and I do this. So one of my business offerings that I want to start rolling out is a fractional, like, staff augmentation, where it's like, I just work for you. But
I'm like,
you just go,
yes,
you go,
please.
oh, okay, what do you need? And I go, okay, all right, I'll get this to you by tomorrow. I say, cool. And then we move on with our lives. But I think that's what needs to happen first is, and you're doing it, right? I'm sure when you come into contact with people as a therapist, you can't resist sometimes giving people wisdom,
Yeah,
and you share your gifts probably pretty, you know,
freely.
so why shouldn't everybody be like that?
Hmm.
And why do you not deserve that? And you do. You so do.
You are such a blessing. Look at you, like a
You
little
are too.
Raheem DeVaughn. We were talking about him being a blessing to us on that stage.
I just need to be a customer. That's all I'm saying. Raheem, if you're listening,
Which he should be because I have all his albums and
I knitted this man a scarf, and I left it at work because I was like, he's so sweet. I was like,
did you
he's
knit
just
him a
like,
scarf? Oh, that is beautiful.
because I was like, I want this man to have something as a nice present for me.
That
Do they give it to him? Who knows?
that is very nice. I mean, I don't know how to knit, but I make a lot of jams and jellies and canned things.
Girl, can him some.
Maybe
Send me the bill.
some pickled deviled eggs
Tell him I put some jalapeno juice in there, please.
to cut down on that acidity. That's what I did.
Oh my goodness. No,
Mm.
Chuko, I thank you so very much for having me on. I thank you
Oh,
for sharing your life with me before this,
yeah.
and just being so generous. So I really do appreciate this. And it's been like an amazing conversation for me. So thank you so
You
much.
are so welcome. It has been my absolute pleasure. And we talked for like 40 minutes before we started rolling. So you have been seeing this face for a long time. And I appreciate you and talking this whole time and letting me pick your brain. It has been absolutely amazing. And the generous offering that I will accept after I put this computer, this keyboard down off of my face
Yeah.
because you looked right through the windows of my soul and you
Mhm.
said, and not wait until you need the help. And I said, I hear you.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
You're
Mhm.
beautiful indeed. Thank you.
You are as well. Thank you so much for this.
I will be talking to you soon.
Yes. Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.